Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. We need the plants. Green leaves in the background. If this is your fourth video in my vlog series and you've been watching every single one since I started this a few weeks ago, thank you for watching, thank you for coming back, and don't forget to comment. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Facebook, leave a message, let me know if this has helped you, if it hasn't, and if there's other stuff you'd like to talk about. Okay, so today we're going to talk about habits. Tell you guys the technique that I've used to completely radically change my lateness, completely just radically change most of the habits that I've done. Let's get into the video. So first of all, the definition of a habit. It's a habit is something that you practice, a regular tendency that is hard to give up. Being successful at anything is just a matter of creating new habits, and you already have habits. We all have habits. We all have habitual thinking patterns, habitual actions, habitual belief systems that we operate in. You have the tools for living a more successful life, because all you need is more positive habits to succeed. So the first thing that I want to say about changing habits is that the mindset is the most important thing. You need an attitude of patience. Don't expect like overnight it's going to change, but know that you are a work in progress, and you need patience. It's the first thing that you need to identify when you're like, oh, I need to change this, I need to change that, is to first think of your identity. Before even thinking of, I want to do this more, I want to do that more, write down a vision of who you want to be. There's this diagram, I don't know if you can see. Be, do, have. Think about who you want to be, and then we'll think about what you need to do, and then we'll think about what you want to have. To identify a system for yourself, it'll be much easier for you to think about the habits that you need to change in order to become the person that you want to be. An example. When I talk about identity, I identified what kind of acting gigs I want to be doing 5 years from now. And once I identified those gigs, I was like, damn, I'm probably going to need to be like physically strong to do that stuff. I'm going to be physically demanding. And so I started exercising. That's why I started exercising. I didn't start exercising because I was like, oh, let me, look nice. And I mean, that's a really nice bonus, but I did it because I wanted to, because of an identity thing. The first thing that you need to do if you want to change anything about your life, after you've changed your mindset and thought about being more patient with yourself and written down the vision statement, so those are the first two steps. I guess then the third step then will be to make sure to keep it simple and keep it easy. Social scientists say that it takes about 66 days to develop a new habit, not 21, 66. So for the first 6 to 8 weeks, 6 times 7, 40. Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks of any new habits that you're trying to form, you need to keep it simple. A lot of people at the beginning of a new year will be like, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. Hey, why would you want to go to the gym 3 times a week? That is for an hour. Your body is going to be like, girl, no, that is painful. You want to change a habit, you need to keep it simple. One of the reasons why I love Jillian Michaels is that it's just a 20-minute workout. It's actually about 25, 27 minutes. But because it's that little, I can tell myself I can do it. But the days when I used to try to get myself to go to the gym for an hour, I wasn't going to the gym. After your body has habituated that experience of going to do something new, you can then make it harder. But in the beginning, you need to make it simple. The only reason you're doing something simply in the beginning is just for your body to get used to it as a thing. Keep it simple, keep it easy. You want to be a writer? Don't say I'm going to write for an hour every day. Tell yourself I'm only going to do it for 10 minutes. Set a timer, a start time and an end time. Sometimes I struggle with the end time. So like one day I'll do 6 hours of work, even though I told myself I should do 2. And so the next day I feel like I need to top up the 6 hours that I did yesterday. And then that's too overwhelming. So start a start time and an end time. Tell yourself you're only going to do this for 10 minutes at this specific time. And that'll get you into the groove of trying to introduce something new into your life. Second thing that I'd say about habit creation is habit stacking. Like when I wanted to start meditating, doing affirmations and exercising, I told myself, why don't we just add it to something we already do? Because plugging in your habits into the black hole vortex doesn't always work. You need to put your habits into habits that you already do or a system that you already have. So anytime I think to myself, well, it's bedtime, I'll brush my teeth, because it's like, that's, now that it's bedtime, that's the thing that I do before. So when you want to create new habits, don't plug them into the vortex of at 5 p.m. I'll just somehow find the psych to exercise. No, you won't. If you don't know what you're going to be doing at 4 p.m., 4:59 p.m., you won't have the energy. But if you plug it in, like maybe on the way home from work, I'm going to pass by the gym and just run for 5 minutes, then that's what you need to do to plug it in. If it's like, I want to start reading, so I'm going to read 10 pages right before bed, that's what you do. So when I wanted to start exercising, I was just like, when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to, first of all, meditate for 5 minutes, because I met a teacher who told me just 5 minutes of meditation will change my life if I did that consistently for a year. So I'm doing it, and I can actually feel the benefits of it. I feel calmer, I feel more centered, and it just helps me feel more energized and more in control of things. Because meditation is a really good habit, because it helps you, when your mind wanders off a path and you bring yourself back to your breath, when you start to freak out, or maybe your thought patterns go a certain way, or maybe you're really worked up, the practice or the practice of bringing your mind back to your breath will make it easier for you to bring yourself back. When your emotions are high, when you're going down, a rabbit hole in your mind, you're able to bring yourself back from that. And that's where meditation can be really helpful in, finding better ways to manage your life. I wake up, I meditate, then I do affirmations for 10 minutes, and then immediately I exercise. I stack up my habits instead of at some point today I'm going to meditate, and then at some point I'm going to exercise, and at some point I'll do my affirmations. The last thing that I'll say about habit building is create a reward system for yourself. Positive reinforcement is the #1 way to teach anybody anything. If you want a dog to learn a trick, then they do it, you give them a treat. And then they'll do it again, and they'll do it again. At some point, maybe you won't give them a treat and you'll just tell them sit, and they will. Why do we understand this about training animals, but we don't understand this about training ourselves? So much self-criticism happens for people when we don't do the things that we want. And that actually goes in the opposite direction of changing anything about our lives. I'm taking this course on this website called Coursera. It's called Positive Psychology. And positive emotions are very, 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 very important in wanting to change anything. Criticism doesn't work. This is scientifically speaking. Criticizing yourself about doing something wrong that you want to change actually, scientifically does not work. It makes you weaker. It makes you more stressed out. Self-compassion is actually the best way to change anything about yourself, scientifically speaking. If you make even a small change, even the tiniest change in a habit, find a way to reward yourself, because then your brain is going to think, oh wow, I get rewarded if I do this thing, I'm going to do it again, as opposed to screaming at yourself. So yes. So in summary, those are the things that I would say. So that being said, I'm going to share with you some of the habits that I am trying to change. I'm doing this on the internet. This might not be a good idea. You could be anybody, but I need accountability. And if I tell you, I have to tell you the truth next time about how I'm doing with my habits. The first one is that I am super late to everything. And oh my gosh, you guys, lateness is a thing that I've come to understand more from the resource Never Late Again, 7 Cures for the Punctually Challenged. Because it's not like I'm late because I want to be late. It's not that I'm late because I disrespect everyone. It's like genuinely a problem. And usually like I feel so bad and so guilty and so horrible that at some point I was just like, something has to change. Like I am so tired of feeling this way. And that's another thing too about habit creation, is that you have to get to a point where you're like, I cannot do this anymore. And I think that's the difference between people who create habits that stick and people who create habits and they don't. Tardiness is one thing that I really want to change. I sleep late. I sleep really late. I've always blamed other people for this, but honestly, it's a personal thing mostly, and that is related to my cell phone use, which is another habit that I want to change. I spend, I think, 2 to 3 hours on my phone every day. If I calculate that in the next 10 years, I will have spent 2.4 years or 5 years on my phone or something crazy like that. I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out this social media thing as an artist. And then the last habit I want to change is that of worrying and rumination. I didn't even know that worrying was a habit, but it is a habit. Like obsessively thinking about an issue, it's a habit and your brain gets used to doing it. It's a coping habit. And once you start doing it, it's very difficult to stop. So I want to change that habit. I got this amazing book, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Carnegie, and actually it's been really amazing. There's some very nice simple techniques of handling worry that are in that book, and my worry has gone down dramatically. That's it for today. I'm going to check in with you guys next week about how tardy I was to all the things that I had. What time did I sleep? What was my cell phone use? And I don't know how to measure worry, but I'm also going to check in on that. Those are some really good edges, you guys. I just finished watching the video that I made and realized that I was supposed to report on 4 things. So tardiness, I've already told you guys about. Screen time, I'm down actually 38% from last week. I've been spending 2 hours, 90 minutes per day. But honestly, like a lot of that is just Googling stuff. What I've done to reduce my screen time, I deleted my Instagram, I deleted my WhatsApp. And actually that has saved me a lot of time. I still need to figure out a system of using social media once I'm back in it. But for now, because other things are my priorities, I don't have those. Oh, sleeping late. Gosh. I've been sleeping at like 9 p.m. It's crazy how many things can change in, I think, was it 2 weeks when I did that last vlog. Yeah, I've been sleeping before 10 p.m. mostly because of work and needing to be up at 5 in the morning. But I started using the technique, if I'm in bed by a certain time, then I can reward myself. And that has been working, although recently I've just been sleeping early because I need to get to work on time. And on time is like really early, and I don't want to be tired because I don't like being tired. And then worrying. Actually, there's this really good book that I've started reading called The Magic of Thinking Big. It's the book that I read before my grad school auditions started, and I think it made a huge impact on how my auditions went. It's so funny. It talks about, on the first page it said that the thing that makes some people succeed is not because they're more talented or they work harder, nothing, but because they have the ability to think big. And I think as an artist who's been existing in the world, or reality in quotes, because nothing really is real, I'd been sucked into, this is how it is and this is what it's like, and just losing touch with God and dreaming, and the book has actually it has some really, really amazing concepts on how to think big.
yeah, how to think big and what are the things you should stop doing, and just how do you, I don't know, check it out. It's a really good book. If you need to think big in whatever industry you're in and you suffer from small thinking, then that's a really, really, really useful tool. If you're content to live the life you are living so far, it's up to you. My punctuality profile of the 8 events that I've had to be on time for this week, I've been on time to 4. I've been on time to 4, which is amazing because last week it was 0. 2 times I was late because of reasons that was not like my fault. Okay, I know this sounds like the classic late person excuse. It wasn't my fault, but no, it really wasn't my fault because the overnight trains were not running. Anyway, let me tell you guys the technique that I've used to completely radically change my lateness, completely just radically change most of the habits that I've done. Haribos. You guys, I love Haribos. After reading what's that book called? First of all, I look so good. I mean, is it just me? I read the book and I was like, how can I change because of this, the 7 cures for the punctually challenged, and there were so many exercises and so many things and so many, but you know what actually ended up helping me was recognizing my type of late person that I am and seeing when it's happening. That's one way. It's just recognizing what the problem is. The second thing is rewarding myself. It's the best thing because for anything in this world, if the answer is to any question is the answer to any motivating anything is what's in it for me. If I get to eat a Haribo because I was on time, I'm so happy that I will risk my life to run to a bus at 4:40 in the morning because I want to eat my Haribo. You guys, I love these Haribos. It's working magic in other things. Like I tell myself, like, I want to start working on this project. I don't want to work on that project. That project is so bloody overwhelming. I don't want to do it. Then I tell myself, but Wacuka, if you can work on it for 30 minutes, you get to eat a Haribo. And I'm like, I have been so accomplished this week. And let me tell you, the one day I couldn't eat my Haribo, I was so upset when I threw that Haribo in the trash because I was late for my own for being late. I was so sad. And one time I couldn't find my Haribo in my handbag and I was literally pissed. I was like trying to find it. I saw this chick. This was at the callbacks of one of the grad schools, and I saw this chick looking at me when I finally found it. And I opened the Ziploc bag like I was about to do drugs, and I was so happy. And then I just put it in my mouth, and like the way that chick looked at me was like I had just popped a shroom in my mouth. And I just want to tell you, first of all, I don't do drugs. Second of all, why are you looking at me? When you don't have other things to do with your life?
Thank you for watching this video. Do comment, do subscribe, message me if you liked this, and I wish you an amazing 2019. Do you have something to say, Plant? Do you have thoughts about habits? Do you have any habits?